I believe we covered all the questions and concerns that the board had brought up in previous meetings, and we're quite confident that our proposal will not only save the county money, but can provide a better service in that we would be providing recycling centers at the more remote sites, Albion, Potter Valley, and Boonville. Something that's been going along and as part of our proposal is the expansion of the South Coast Transfer Station. We have been servicing the South Coast area through a franchise agreement with the county for over 2 years now. And we first took over through a competitive process. If you want to call it competitive, we were the only bidder that would want to take that area, I presume. We were instructed to take our refuse that we picked up to the Annapolis Transfer Station, which is located in Sonoma County. And at that time, refuse fees, disposal fees at Annapolis were running around $75 a ton. In 2 years, it's gone up 4 times. It's up to $96 a ton, and there's no end in sight. This board is aware that the Sonoma County has looked at divesting their solid waste facilities in Sonoma County. Jim Anderson, who now is back in Mendocino County, was in charge of seeing that to that divestiture. There was a bid process to have 4 or 5 bidders that are coming in and taking over. The thing that's scary, though, is that they do not have their post-closure fees set for their landfill. So these fees at Annapolis could go up to whatever. And the board is aware that the agreement with Sonoma County for the Annapolis transfer station is only a 180-day agreement. They could easily just say, Mendocino County, we do not want your garbage anymore. We've given you 180 days to find another alternative. That alternative doesn't really exist today. Certainly we could drive our trucks back to the Willits transfer station or the Ukiah transfer station, but the fees to collect in South Coast would be exorbitant. So we presented a proposal 2 years ago to the Solid Waste Division, who didn't act on it, to expand the South Coast transfer station to accept commercial trucks there and dump it on a floor, push it into a possum belly trailer very similar to what Ukiah and Willits transfer stations do, direct haul it to Potrero Hills, where we hold a very lucrative landfill agreement with Potrero for another 20-some years, and put a conclusion to this madness I think is happening in Annapolis, where it's just continuing to go up. Now, the Solid Waste Division's answer was, well, Jerry, you've got a pass-through arrangement in your franchise agreement. Just keep raising the rates. You're going to be held whole by raising the rates. Well, I feel that's not the answer. At some point, people are going to say your garbage rates are too high. They're going to dump it along the roads or in the canyons and the ravines, or we're going to be competing against the South Coast Transfer Station for our self-haul. They're going to self-haul their waste directly to the facility, and we're going to lose customers on our routes. And I don't think it's an appropriate thing to do for us. If we can save the ratepayers in South Coast area by finding a better disposal site, we should be looking at that together. Now, this proposal before the board or to the Solid Waste Division a couple of years ago, I had it figured in through bond financing to do this in conjunction with our material recovery facility that we're building in Willits now. And I should have my head examined because I'm spending $3.8 million on a MRF that the recyclables are worth nothing today, but I'm confident that they'll go back up and everything will be fine. But we had to forego the $500,000 we had earmarked for the South Coast expansion because the investment banker said, well, in order for you to put that into your bond financing proposal, you have to have a construction permit or some kind of a use permit. And we didn't have that, so we had to drop that from our bond funding. We're still willing to go forward. We've talked to our bank about it, even though the spirit of banking now is not to loan money, but they say if it goes forward like we expect, we can save the money, we can actually reduce rates to the ratepayer and get a long-term operating agreement from the county. They may still continue to be supportive of financing that $500,000 to expand that facility, especially if we can get a full support from the board for that. So this is again a project that has been long-term. We decided to bring it up now because back in September we got our 4th increase, and I thought, you know, enough's enough. We need to do something now. I was waiting for Waste Management to come in with their proposal. They're about as slow as government in getting things done too, and I just went ahead and told Mr. Mitchell, here's our proposal. We're ready to go forward with the 5 container sites and the expansion of the South Coast Transfer Station. So I'll be very happy to be presenting this material to you in the next few weeks, as well as the 2 new supervisors coming on board to get the dialogue started so we can start saving the county money and look at maybe expanding this South Coast Transfer Station to put a hold on these exorbitant increases in that area and get the ratepayers some better rates, as well as coming up with a long-term solid waste disposal solution for that part of the area. Ukiah Valley and Willits Valley all have it right now with our long-term support with our landfill agreements. South Coast doesn't have it currently with the Annapolis Transfer Station. That's about it, Mr. Chairman. I'll answer any questions that you may have.
Questions of Mr. Ward. Supervisor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Ward, a couple of things. I want to make sure that I understand the core issues, and I think actually taking this on a site-by-site basis, if you will, for a more in-depth analysis is going to help figure out the true bottom line cost issues that, of course, the board's concerned about, and is this a cost-effective step? So I want to make sure that I understand it correctly from your proposal. You're talking about the increases at the Annapolis fees, and I believe they're $96.04 per ton currently?
96.50.
96.
Or 96 even, excuse me.
96, and that's as of September 1st, 08.
And that does include the MSWA surcharge of $4.50.
Okay, so, and then you're talking about Potrero Hills.
It's currently 23.42, and if you add I rounded it up to 24, you add the 450, it's 28 bucks.
And I believe that your proposal states that, and I want to make sure I understand this right, that it's actually more cost-effective to haul all of the materials from the South Coast, get them out of the area, and take them to Potrero Hills because of the contract you have there.
Currently, we are direct hauling all the self-haul waste that's collected at South Coast directly to Potrero using a possum belly. So it's already happening. What we don't have is the ability to dump it on a floor and push it into the trailers. The self-haul people come in with their pickup trucks and cars and there's a ledge there. They put it over a ledge and drop it into our trailer.
So what are you using Annapolis for right now?
Annapolis is where our refuse trucks, collection trucks go and
The
dump.
commercial.
The commercial
Commercial
trucks.
side. So you want to
Yes.
consolidate and get it all to
All
Potrero
in one
Hills.
spot.
So, well, I think this has a lot of potential to create this cost efficiencies, both for the county and for you as the private sector hauler. I think what we're going to need, though, in terms of is a very detailed breakdown in the cost analysis where you're talking about all of the associated costs. Supervisor Pinch has mentioned the insurance issue. I think that, you know, we're going to have to obviously deal with that. You're going to want to know what the county commitment is if you're going to put in infrastructure dollars. So,
Correct.
I think for the South Coast area, this really warrants those specifics, but I'd say that we're really going to have a comprehensive agreement and proposal that actually talks about every associated issue. So, as I believe Howard DeShield, our Director of Transportation, said about one point, you know, you can't privatize the profits and keep in the public